Good evening and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel. And it is Saturday, and it's time for Star Trek, and I am here without a migraine. Yay! That attempted coffee stream yesterday was just awful. Um, I'm here with my friends Skeptalk,
Hi, everybody.
the One Ton Hammer,
Hey.
Irate Prostate,
Hola.
and Functional.
Good afternoon, good evening, or good day.
And we are here to talk to you about our favorite non-human characters in Star Trek today. So this is going to be fun. I wonder how many Jeffrey Combs characters we're going to pick.
All of them.
All of them, yeah.
Jeffrey Combs show tonight. I think it's going to be mostly.
Yeah, either it's Jeffrey Combs or Tony Todd, you know. So we're here, and I guess no series that we cover is off limits, whether it be Enterprise, DS9, Voyager, original series, or TNG. All the non-human characters are available. So I hear a communicator alert.
That's my phone. I run L cars, and I got all the sound effects and everything.
My phone, my reminders. Is Picard going make it so? And my voicemail was, or it used to be, Captain Kirk, you have an important message from Starfleet Command, top priority.
Do you remember in Enterprise when Malcolm was? Oh no, it was in Voyager with Neelix, where he's doing the it was Enterprise. I'm so sorry. It's all a jumble. Where he's trying to pick the red alert sound, and there's that one klaxon that's just like,
Yeah.
That's my battery low
Read alert.
warning.
That's
Oh my
awesome.
god.
Oh my god, that was horrible.
So bad.
Trippy's here. Hey, Trippy.
My instant message is a door chime.
Oh. Nice. So today, as I said, we're talking about our favorite non-human characters, and I think, although Jeffrey Combs is going to be, picked a lot, like, for his different characters, I think we can't have a pick of non-human characters without talking about Worf. Because Worf is just, he's so, especially when you get into Deep Space Nine, you find more out about Worf. And he becomes more of a developed character. But even more so for me, one of my favorite non-human characters, and I wish we saw more from her, is Kalar. I really liked Kalar.
She was also the Vulcan second doctor, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
Dr. Solar.
Solar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that name.
She was what I wanted B'Elanna to be. When I started watching Voyager, I thought B'Elanna was gonna be like a kind of another Kalar. I thought they were gonna make another run at a Kalar type character. And I was kind of disappointed that she was kind of, prone to throw temper tantrums and stuff. But Kalar was too, but Kalar did it better. If you know
Yeah,
what
B'Elanna
I mean.
always came off a little bit more emo.
Yeah.
A little more
Just more like a
childish.
petulant child.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Kalar came across like she was actually struggling with something.
She's also the female Q, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she
Make sure I got the right actress.
Yep, you're right. Now that you point that out, I can hear the voice. It's the same person.
It's great how they can get these actors and actresses that can play multiple roles, and
Makeup.
you sometimes don't even realize you're watching the same actor
Yeah.
as this character to that character. One of my favorites is J.G. Hertzler, who plays a whole bunch of different characters, but another Klingon, General Martok
I love
from Deep Space Nine. I loved that one sort of several episode sort of tie-in arc where he goes through like Klingons go through PTSD?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like it delves into that character, and I loved him so much. And at the end, to see him become Chancellor was sort of like
yeah.
good. His comeuppance. He's still a Klingon, but he's rational. He's not just blinded by politics like Gowron was, or by bloodlust like the average sort of Klingon just general is.
Yeah. Well, because we saw the juxtaposition between him and that other general.
Yes.
That was like, let's just bring these men over here. And Martok's like, why? You're gonna sacrifice men needlessly. Oh, they're Klingons. They should want to be sacrificed needlessly. You know, it's like,
yeah, and you get the impression that they're basically just parroting Gowron's
yeah.
words, his directives, because they're just such spineless.
Yeah.
But not spineless. That's probably a poor word. But they're just so eager for that bloodlust, that battle. They don't care. The Chancellor saying battle. Okay, good. We're on board. You saw that a lot too in well, not a lot, but in that one episode of TNG with the when you see the generals and they're dealing with that stuff.
Yeah, there's and we even talk when we talk about when we first meet Kalar, when they have to meet the ship that was basically been in deep sleep since the Klingon War with the Federation.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, we are going to be meeting Klingons that believe that they're at war with you. And they're going to want to kill you because that's what they do. Right? And everyone is like, no, that's not, like, because I think they're kind of thinking about Worf, right? And thinking how Worf is. And Kalar's like, no, these are Klingons. And Klingons are going to want to kill you. I'm sorry. That's just, like, she had a fatalistic view about her people, but it was true. Like, I don't know. I liked Kalar. She was really well played.
To talk generally about the subject for today's stream, to pick a favorite non-human character, because there are so many good and interesting, fascinating non-human characters in all the Star Trek universes, that you essentially just have to go through and say, I really like this one. I want to talk about this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was the way that I did it. I looked at characters and some of the oddball characters, like what's it? You remember the guy, the weasel who worked for the Dominion? I think his name was Wayoon.
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting character. I think he was a clone, if memory serves.
He was,
Yeah.
yes.
And
Yeah.
He was like clone number 8 in a series or something.
No, they
And-
kept killing him, man,
7.
because he kept fucking shit up.
They
Right.
started.
Got to 7,
you
I
first
think,
you first
didn't
introduced him, and he was Wayun 3, I think.
Yeah, Wayne 3, and I think they got to 7.
Yeah, got to 7. Okay, but you get my point.
Mhm.
It's just some fascinating aspects and roles that these people did. So, but essentially, he is kind of a one-trick pony. He's kind of an appendage of that plot line of the Dominion plot arc. And that's the only place he really exists within. That's the only place he does functionality. So when I was looking for a favorite character, I tried to look and say, who has a lot of functionality and is interesting in a lot of different ways, but also maintains some consistency of character, believability about the person. And one of them emerged as being just head and shoulders above the others. And I admit to having a TOS, prejudice. That's just who I am. And that's I want to say his name, get his name exactly right. Sachin Tegai. Right? Sachin Tegai Spock, his full name.
Yes.
Sachin Tegai Spock. He is absolutely a riveting character who is not this purely logical. His human and Vulcan side are at war with him,
Yep.
and he has interesting relatives,
He
and he
does
comes
have
from an interesting planet, and his interactions with humans are fascinating, Captain.
And it's so funny because the joke about the main running joke about Vulcans is they're boring, right? In Star
Yes.
Trek. But
And he's one of the most
but
interesting characters in the.
exactly, he's one of the most interesting people you can, and like most of the Vulcan characters in the shows that we run into are interesting at
Right.
some point or another. Like even Tuvok
I love
Yes,
Tuvok.
is
I love
interesting.
Tuvok too.
And he Spock too. He's the first
Yeah.
like cool, interesting alien in all of Trek. He
Yeah.
laid the groundwork, Leonard
He did.
Nimoy.
Yeah.
He really did, and if we're gonna include the people like Spock, I would posit Data then, because
Data's another great choice.
Data's
For the same
non-human.
reason. For exactly the same reason.
he's an android. He resembles humans, but
He's in
not
so
human.
many different plot arcs, and he's a fascinating guy. And there were interesting aliens. I always liked the Telosians. In fact, I think my friend Harry of the Harry Channel, I'm pretty sure he's Telosian or half Telosian.
Dude.
He's got the big head, the
It's
big
so
brain.
true.
He's and he's just thinks better than we do, and so for that reason. But they're an interesting bunch. I always thought the Metrons would be interesting people to know, and was heartbroken that they never did anything with them. The
Yeah.
Metrons, who have this advanced civilization where there's no war and everybody's happy. Tell us more. No. I guess it was too perfect.
I would have liked to know more about the Binars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
The
Another good
Binars were
example.
pretty interesting. Like, really, and I like that you could, because what's really cool is in the first season, in the 15th episode, you get the Binars and they're more, yes, they take the Enterprise hostage, but they did it because they needed help, right? They weren't trying to hurt anybody. They needed help. They needed a memory core big enough to do a dump to save themselves, basically, to reset. And then in the next season, in the 16th episode, you get the Borg, who are just evil. And it's an interesting dynamic, because I would have really liked to know more about the Binars, who seem pretty benevolent.
Like they could have written them, because there's sort of a dichotomy between them and the Borg. They could have written in some stuff that they helped develop some of the defenses that the Federation used to fight the Borg. Maybe just little throwaway lines, but but that could lead us to maybe getting more people interested, so that they would want to write some stories, including Binars.
Like,
because weren't they?
Louis Zimmerman could have worked with the Binars to
That would be.
produce the holographic doctors. Like, that would have been interesting.
It's just something.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, they're just a very interesting race. That did they end up joining the Federation?
I think so. I don't know, though. I'm not sure. I know that Picard was going to put in a good word for the two Binars that were gonna, like, because the two Binars that took the Enterprise hostage were like, we are prepared to go and face consequences, right? And Picard was like, I'm gonna, tell the Admiral you were just trying to save yourself. Like, he was gonna put in a good word for them, but I don't know if the Binars actually ended up.
Yeah, according to Memory Alpha, no. There's no mention of it.
Before we move on, I wanted to throw out a couple of facts I researched while we've been talking about Dr. Solar, your original pick. Dr. Solar actually appeared in another role as well. She's the only actress who's appeared in Star Trek in 4 different roles. She was also Tara, the Andorian girlfriend of Jeffrey Combs' character.
Tran, yeah.
Oh,
Tran. Yeah, she was his girlfriend.
wow.
So she appeared before. And her name is Susie Plaxon. That's her
Oh.
actual real name. And get this, she's 6'2" tall.
She sounds like
She's
a
a
large
tall
lady.
woman.
Like her voice,
yeah.
like she, and I don't mean like she sounds fat or anything, right? She sounds tall. Like
She sounds
she's
tall.
got a deeper voice. Like
She purrs when she talks.
she does. Like even when she comes out of that probe when she's as Kalar, I greet you. I am Kalar.
She the other thing that catches me with her is that she's one of the most. You think of all the Star Trek ancillary characters, she is by far the most popular. Whenever there's any kind of convention, there's always seems to be a huge line for her. I'm just reading off of StarTrek.com.
I bet, because she was awesome. Like even in her little bits, in her little roles, she was really good. And
They photographed her during all these episodes, and she looks tall, but she doesn't look 6'2". She doesn't dwarf all the guys on the set, so they must have
In
set that
Enterprise,
up.
she
So,
did.
I mean, she doesn't look terribly bigger than Worf. They never put her face to face with him in a way where, because he's 5'11" and she's 6'2", so she should look bigger than him.
Is
But at no
Michael
point,
Dorn only 5'11"?
yeah, he's 5'11",
Oh wow.
and it all reminds me of Bridget Nielsen with Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop. His quote was, "That's a big bitch." That's my ideal for a woman, because I'm 6'3", so 6'2" is like, yeah, it's perfect height.
Yep. Yeah, I know a girl in real life who's about 6'2",
Wow.
and her friend is her boyfriend, who's also a family friend, is 6'8",
Oh my God.
Wow.
without his bike boots on.
Yeah, my UPS delivery guy is 6'8".
Oh God.
And even at 62, she's still a fox.
Wow. She's 62 now.
Now, yeah. At 40, oh my God, she was drop dead gorgeous. But yeah, I agree with you. She really didn't. The way that they played the cameras, she didn't look very large.
Yeah.
In every other role, but when she was playing the Andorian chick in Enterprise, she definitely dwarfed Coombs in some shots, and you could tell. But that played into the character, because the Andorian women are just as they're pretty much genetically equal to the men.
I was wrong with Michael Dorn. I thought he was 5'11". He's actually the same height, or a little bit taller than her. He's 6'3". He's my height.
Okay.
I must have been thinking about somebody else. Maybe I was thinking of Tran.
Yeah, I think Coombs is only like 5'10".
Referee COM's height. HITH.
I bet
He is 5'7".
Oh wow.
5'7". Wow.
Yeah, he's 5'7". So
He's
that's what
little
it must
man.
have.
He's a small dude.
Yeah.
He's an inch taller than me. That's funny.
Yeah.
It's,
Anyway, I just wanted to cover that because she is one of my favorite characters too. So
Oh,
when you were
yeah.
talking about her, I was like,
I've got a guy that played 4 characters too. One of my
Oh, yeah?
picks.
What's
Yeah.
that?
All right. The actor's name is James Joseph Sloyan.
Okay.
Right. But all right. So he played Aldar Jarok, the Romulan defector.
Oh yeah.
Mora Pole. I don't know what episode that's in. He played the grown-up Alexander.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and then Mabar Jatrell.
Dr. Tetrell from Voyager. He was the Metatron Cascade.
Oh,
The Metatron
right.
Cascade.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, that's a great
Like I said
character.
before, when you don't realize, and then you
he's
make
from
that
the-
connection.
he's from the Defector, right? That was his first.
Yep,
one.
he was
Yeah.
Jirok.
Yes. Yeah.
Admiral
And,
Duroc, yeah.
yeah, and Tomalak. I got to put those two together because I think they're quintessential, like
Romulans.
Romulans. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really like Tomalak. In his relationship with Picard.
Oh yeah.
That was
Yeah.
one of the best scenes in Star Trek when Picard had those three Klingon destroyers uncloak, and he says, "Do you want to die today?"
Yeah,
That
exactly.
was a
That was
great
awesome.
scene, man.
Or my favorite is when in the Galormden Core episode where Geordi is stranded on Galormden Core with the Romulan,
Yeah.
and Picard is like, they're far away still from the Romulans, and they're by Galormden Core checking it out, and they're listening to the Romulan. They're listening to Tomalak calling for them for the ship, and then Picard just opens the channel and goes, "Commander Tomalak."
Hi, remember
Gotcha,
me?
bitch.
Do you mind telling me what you're doing? Like, it's just.
And he's played by my second favorite sci-fi actor of all time, Andreas Katsulas, who played Jakar on D5. Sorry, Harry.
No, Tomalak and Jirok are good choices too, because they were, you could tell, like with Jirok, the pride in Romulus, but also the disgust with what he thought was going on in his in the upper echelons, and like he even says to Data at one point, he's like, "I'm doing this for my daughter," right? Like, and so you can see, like, you kind of, because Romulans up to that point were always just like more faceless villains, really. You didn't have to put really a human aspect to them, or a fact that they could be loving and they could be doing self-sacrificing, or sacrificing for their family. You don't.
Yeah.
That's really the first time you see that in a Romulan, and it's kind of an interesting slant.
Mm-hmm. Was that an eyebrow joke?
No, it was not. Let's see, and of course, we have Shran, because Shran was just fantastic.
Yeah.
In his hatred for the humans.
They kind of gave us what we really wanted from an alien introduction.
Yeah.
Like getting to know more than just that character, but their species.
Yeah. Anyone else wish we could have seen more Breen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do make reference to them quite often, but when we finally see them, it's kind of like, that's cool, but I want to see more. They really had a really peculiar ship design.
They always were wearing the helmets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the little rumors around them.
Exactly.
Yeah, the rumors about the Breen are, but I want to see why they exist. Like, do you know what I mean? I want to know why the rumors about the Breen exist. I want to know
Right.
how horrible they can be. You know what I
Like
mean?
why they're so xenophobic and content to have their little pocket of the galaxy.
Yeah.
Even though they're so powerful, they don't.
They're ethno-state.
Yeah, but they don't want to expand. They're happy with their little corner.
The Breen ethno-state. Yeah.
So I know I already mentioned Martok, so one of my favorites, but my absolute pinnacle favorite non-human of, and they span several shows. It's kind of obvious, but Q,
Yeah.
the original Q, the John Delancey Q.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because his interactions, depending not only on the situation and sort of more human aspects, but his interactions with the individual captains was just so fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Like he would toy with Picard because he's the explorer, and he would use that against him. Against Janeway, he knew they were explorers, but they also wanted to get home. But so they were always torn between. He used that against her, and he also used the fact that she was the lady captain.
Yeah, he
could
really
use
did.
that, and then he. What was cool with his interactions with Cisco, he didn't know how to handle Cisco.
No.
Cisco kept throwing him for a loop, and I'm like, okay, so now we actually see that there's flaws in the queue.
Yeah, because what happened? What if you were a godlike and you made yourself and you put yourself in a boxing ring with somebody and that human hit you? You'd kind of be like, what?
You hit me. Picard never hit me.
You hit me.
I'm not Picard.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like the best scene.
I love that. I love that
Yes,
scene. Picard never hit me. I love that line. I absolutely love that whole scene.
It's great. It is so great.
I'm afraid. Oh my god, I'm so afraid that they might use them in STD, but who cares? It's not even Trek.
Yeah, that's not canon to me.
Nope.
The books are more canon than that.
Yeah,
Well,
that's fanfic dalliance to me. So
I need to start reading some of the Trek books. I really do.
There are some good ones. A lot of Hoke, but there were some really good ones. Yeah.
Like the Mzadi books, I might want to.
That one was actually pretty good. Yeah.
Has
Yeah, it
anybody
really.
read Ishmael?
No.
No.
That's where Spock's full name gets revealed.
Oh, okay.
That's where I got that. It's in the original series. Actually, in one of the episodes, he says it's not really pronounceable
Yeah.
by humans.
I'm kind of knowing that. I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't sort of carry that over into something like Enterprise,
Yeah.
where they would say their name but like once or twice, not constantly, and so that and would show that the names that they're using, like T'Pol, are just sort of shortened names so that humans can converse with them or something.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
Because that's cool. I never knew that, Scott.
There you go.
And you know who is another awesome? Speaking of interesting Vulcans, Sarek, played by Mark Leonard.
Mark Leonard.
Does a terrific
Legend.
job. Oh my
Legend,
God.
yeah, absolutely. Star Trek legend, Mark
Yeah.
Leonard.
And when he came back,
Whether he's
for,
a Romulan or
yeah, and when he came
Vulcan.
back for that role in TNG as Spock's father, I was just like,
Yeah.
oh my god, thank
And
you.
he did such a good job as old Sarek,
Mhm.
just play with Bandai syndrome.
Yeah.
And just the battle with the pride of and having pride be an emotion, right? And being too proud because of look at all the accomplishments he's done, and then he's losing his control on his emotions. That has to be embarrassing for any Vulcan, but for somebody of his stature,
of his reputation amongst Vulcans.
yeah.
Oh my gosh! Something that occurred to me, and you didn't say to do this, but it might be kind of fun to kick around. And I've got dibs on getting mine out first. Who's your least favorite non-human character? I got dibs on Kira.
you had to bring her up, man. Well, having a good time, man. And
His favorite non-human character.
But before we move from Sarek, I just want to say that in STD, they actually treated the character properly. The actor portrayed him very, very well. He did his research, and even the blackest of clouds have a silver lining. He was that for that.
Yeah, that guy's a good actor. I know you're talking about. I can't remember his name. James Frayne.
James Frayne. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
Really good, and he really got into the role. He was very much channeling Mark Leonard when he was doing that role.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was great.
Mark
okay,
Leonard
so
was in that.
Least
Absolutely.
favorite. Okay, give me a minute.
Yeah, Mark Leonard was great.
But I didn't mean to manhandle the discussion. It's just it was an idea that occurred to me, and I wanted to get it out there while we still had plenty of time in case other people thought it might be fun to kick around.
Intruding child. Hello, intruding child.
You know, and early on in my DS9 watching career, I would have thought that my least favorite character would have been a Ferengi, but the Ferengi kind of grew on me as I watched more and more of it.
Yep.
Ooh.
Quark is great.
Yeah, Quark is a, you know, I hated his character when I first saw it. I just thought, oh, what obnoxious, uh, caricature of selfishness. You know, self caricature. It's not even good. And then you realize that there's a little more to Quark than what you think, than what's on the surface.
Oh, for
and
sure.
and he's really kind of complicated.
Especially when you get Quark and Odo together.
Oh God, yes. That relationship is how many human relationships have you known that parallel that
Oh
relationship?
my god.
So,
So many.
If they had made him any other species, I probably would be okay with it. But I just can't stand the Ferengi in general. The whole concept of them, the way that the existence of them. I'm genocidal when it comes to them. I hate them.
Is it
Wow.
because they remind
Pretty
so
bad.
because Quark
Nice dog whistle.
Quark has a good point about humans because he says this to hit Cisco because he says the problem
remember
with
this.
you is that he says
We
the problem with
remind
you,
you.
Cisco, is that we remind you of you.
Yeah.
About how you used to be and how close you are to being that again. And I think he's not wrong.
He ends that with only difference between us is we're better.
we're better at being evil. The thing about Quark and the thing about Ferengi generally, I mean, think about the rules of acquisition,
Yeah.
right? That's a liberal scriptwriter who has probably precious little real world experience saying this is what greedy Republicans are like. I'll make a character of greedy Republicans and we'll put big ears on them, and that's essentially what they did.
I thought they were an analogy to space Jews with the
Space Jew.
well. There's like the 200 and something commandments.
Yeah, that and almost a Talmudic respect
Yeah,
for
Moogie,
rules of acquisition. Yeah, that's an interesting
Yeah.
idea.
dude. That's why when Hammer said genocide, I laughed.
Oh, geez, I didn't even think of that.
You guys didn't get that?
It was
Well,
slick, dude.
But I mean, like, some of the best ideas come from our collective cultures, like to pick and choose and sort of use things and maybe some tropes to develop them into a workable alien species and sort of a framework for this species. I think it's a really good idea.
You remember when Captain Kirk went to the Indian planet? Planet Dimensions?
Oh my god, that would never be allowed today.
What was his girlfriend's name?
I can't remember, man. That episode's pretty shitty. I mean, just from
Feather, not dot.
from the ground up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kumikante. What was her name?
I can't remember.
Another.
Kinte.
Yeah,
No,
No,
that's
that,
not
was,
true.
that was Roots.
another beautiful tall woman. Can't remember her name.
Kunta.
And Grill and Pirate Pete, you're totally right.
Monte.
Quark did save the Ferengi from just being the butt of jokes.
Yep. Because they were pretty bad in TNG.
Yeah.
They were the stupid villain of TNG.
The stupid
Yeah.
villain bullies.
Yeah.
Typically, who they're like coyotes. They were a threat when they were in packs.
Well, the one with the Stargazer, that was a pretty sophisticated kind of I don't know what type of revenge, I guess.
Yeah, Damon Goss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maramonte. That's her name.
Ah.
That was close.
And thank you, Dax, because that's probably one of my least favorite characters in all of Trekdom is the Traveler. Like, you're this like massively powerful being, and you're going to take Wesley. I mean, thank you for taking Wesley. But
why
you're
Wesley?
going to take Wesley?
Take my Wesley, please.
Space pedo.
Nuclear Wesley.
Space pedo.
He will kind of.
You're not wrong.
Me.
But I think DS9 did a lot of good in developing, the Ferengi, the Trill, the Klingons. I've said it before, I'll say it again. That's probably one of the best things about that series was that it gave us more in-depth look into the diversity of the different races. Yes, there's stereotypes, but there's always variations.
I kind of like in real life. I loved the idea of the Trill. I couldn't get enough of that.
Oh yeah.
Bless
the
you.
Trill was the Trill were great.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you could live so many lives.
Yes.
And just like
and the continuity.
And
you take those memories of the host with you to the next host.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you'd be a fucking worm. That's all.
Yeah, but
know?
That's all we are inside anyway.
Okay. Like
right.
To me that kind of reminds me of like a kind of split personality. Do you know what I mean? Like it's very interesting to me.
Well, I mean, when Fry got those brain worms and made him super smart, I'd keep the worms. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a symbiont to be able to sort of not like lean on or access directly, but to
just
sort
somebody
of
to talk
benefit from the wisdom of previous lifetimes.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to. You'd have to be careful not to fight with them.
Yeah.
Because leaving is tricky.
That's true. You know what I wish instead of the Kazon?
What?
I wish the Vidians had been more of a villain.
Me too.
The Vidians were the Vidians could have been really, 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 really scary.
Yeah,
they were.
Well, they were when they were on screen.
And they're the fact that they're basically body snatchers, and live organ harvesters.
They're the space CCP.
Exactly.
It would have been really, really awesome for Voyager to have had to face the Vidians first and then the Borg. Like you would.
Hirogen! Don't forget the Hirogen.
And the
I love the Hirogen. That was just there. That was just there. This is our predator.
We're gonna get to the Hirogen, but I just wish that we would have had, seasons 1 and 2 of the Vidians. And then maybe like that 5 or 6 episode break like we had, right? Mm-hmm. And then the Borg.
Yep.
The Vidians were the ones who had their faces were all eaten up with the disease. Okay.
The phage.
Yeah.
Phage, that was it. It was the phage, right?
And they constantly have to have their organs replaced.
And grafted.
Yes.
And it's like, what was it? Like 50% of their population was afflicted with phage?
Yeah.
Space lepers.
And Doc fell in love with Dinara.
The one scientist. Doctor. Yeah.
Dinara Pi or Pell or something like that.
And again, doing what Trek does with great style, showing you the diversity within these different races, that there are some decent Vidians.
Yep.
They're not all horrible organ harvesting monsters.
No. And she even apologizes to B'Elanna. She's like, on behalf of my people, I'm so sorry for what that guy did to you. Like that.
It was just
their version of Mengele.
Basically, yeah.
Terrifying species. I would say it's just as terrifying as the Borg.
I would agree with you. Like that episode Faces was really freaky. Like they did a great job with that episode.
Oh my god.
The only really big difference between the two of them is that the Borg were at least initially unstoppable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Vidians are more powerful. You figured there were ways to trick them and stop them, and that actually ended up being that way with the Borg. But initially, the Borg were just like, "No, you can't do anything about it. We're just going to destroy everything, and then you're just going to have to die."
Yeah.
The Vidians. Vidians were more personal. Granted, the Borg are taking your freedom away and your identity away, but the Vidians were literally taking you apart piece by piece. How frightening is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And can I just say how well Kate Mulgrew acted the scene in the very first episode when we meet the Vidians, the episode called The Phage,
Yeah.
when she is talking to them about how she can't, you know, seek revenge for them taking Neelix's lungs because her culture abhors that, right? And she's not prepared to carry them in the brig for 75 years to take them back to her people to demand you know, restitution. And she is just so like she's, you can tell like she's livid in this scene, and Kate Mulgrew does such a good job portraying this captain who rightfully is absolutely livid that one of her crew has been assaulted in this way.
Molested, yeah.
Hmm. And what am I? Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think the Vidians should have been utilized better.
Did what? It was the Vidians. Was it a Vidian that helped Neelix with the lung thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a Vidian.
they took the lungs from him. They took his lungs from him,
Yeah,
and uh, because they have more advanced technology, they were able to help Doc transplant one of Cass's lungs.
that's what it
And
was.
they
That's
did
what
that
it was.
because Janeway spared their lives.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And
That's right.
so they wanted to return Janeway's basically sparing of their lives by helping Neelix.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, there's so many good, complex, non-human characters that I really credit the writers and directors of Star Trek with interesting non-human characters. They didn't just use the aliens as the alien trope.
Yeah.
You know, sinister and scary. We killed them because they're always bad guys. You know, they're complicated, and they took advantage of the fact that aliens present a whole new palette, you know, to draw characteristics on.
We have got a galaxy full of friends.
I've got my least favorite pick for you.
Who?
Hit us.
The fucking prophets.
You're not wrong.
I hate those
This
guys.
shitty plot device.
I really, really do. And then and the fact that they basically needlessly torture Cisco.
Well, he's their property, right?
Mm.
That's how they treat him.
They do. They treat him like he's their property. It's like I hate the prophets.
hated the prophets,
so
yeah.
very much.
I wanted the paw race to eliminate them in the end, but sadly,
Yeah.
make Bajor secular again.
Yeah.
You never knew where they came from, really. They're vaguely Bajoran, but that's all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, extra, like in a different reality or something.
Yeah, they didn't come from the Prophet planet. You know, we call our planet Loss. We're prophets from Loss.
Get it? Profit and loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying
And
not to groan.
Followed closely by the founders.
I disagree. I kind of it's your choice, but I thought the founders were pretty interesting.
Oh, they were interesting, but I mean, I guess they were somebody you love to hate, right? Because
Yeah, definitely.
especially that female founder, the head, I guess the head founder that always.
She was just a complete bitch.
Oh, she was just.
She was just a Odo honeypot.
She was, and she was horrible to Odo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an potentially abusive relationship.
Yeah, you basically you got the feeling that before Odo went all like godlike and everything at the end, and basically went and repaired the Great Link.
Right.
You would have thought that she would have, had him wrapped around her finger,
Odo's a great character. I love
Oh,
Odo,
yeah.
the character. That was another favorite non-human. It would have made my short list from favorite non-human.
Oh, for sure. Odo was, and again, another actor that just fantastic.
Renee.
Knocked it
Renee
out of the
Auberjonois,
park
yeah.
every time he was on the screen. Name a bad performance by that guy. I can't think of one.
Any scene with Majel Barrett in it.
Well, that's
Yeah, but that's not him. That's not his
him.
I know, but you said name a scene, bad scene.
where he did a bad job, and he never did a bad job.
No. Do you know who I think would have made a better partner for him? And I wish that they actually would have kept that going, because there was an episode where they kind of hinted on it. Him and Loxana.
Interesting.
That would have made... I would have liked that, I think. That... Because he's interesting enough for her to keep herself... Like, do you know what I mean? Like, because she needs an interesting guy. Loxana does.
Mm-hmm.
But... And she's also... full of fun, which Odo needs. Like, Odo needs to have more fun. I don't know. I think Odo and Loxana would have been better than Odo and Kira.
But she's like 80 years his senior.
Yeah, but she's Betazoid.
Since I already mentioned them, I wanted to talk about the Hirogen.
Yes.
Because I have two that I was kind of toying with. The one played by Tony Todd in Hunters. It was other Hunters of Prey. Really good performance. Really
Didn't he
cool
play
character.
Kern, too?
But what?
Didn't Tony Todd play Kern?
Yeah, he
too?
did.
Yep.
Brother.
But I actually went again with J.G. Hertzler's character in Sunkatsu, because you see he's still a warrior, he's still capable, but he's broken.
Yeah.
And it's again, showing that sort of side to a very warrior, militaristic, almost style of species, and that moment where he's actually where he comes out to Seven, and he's the look on his face, like, yeah, I'm kind of surprised, but also not surprised,
Yeah.
because I picked the right opponent to kill me.
Yeah. And that was a great... I really liked that episode. Because...
Sunkatsu?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it made Seven kind of... It made Seven more human. In a
Yeah,
way.
she had to harden up.
Yeah, she had to harden up, but in a way of hardening up, it kind of showed her where her humanity was.
Yeah. By hardening up, I mean hardening up like we harden up.
Yeah,
You have to have a little bit of tough choices to make you a wiser person, and have some trials and tribulations in your life with your emotions. And plus, I mean, The Rock, come on. I even remember the TV promos they used to have for that, and it was like they would just show the eyebrow, and I'm like, oh, come on. But the episode came out, I'm like, this is great.
It was
great.
entertaining.
You're no bigger than a Devonian field mouse.
Fan back then, it's like it was a fun episode.
And that episode, coincidentally enough, had another Jeffrey Combs character.
Really?
The
Did
fight
it?
promoter. The fight promoter was Jeffrey
that's
Combs.
Right.
And again, he played the perfect just son of a bitch.
Oh, he did. He really did.
But a different son of a bitch than the other son of a bitches he's played in Trek.
He's got some range.
He's a
Yeah.
good actor, man. He's
does.
solid. Always just a solid actor.
Yeah, you could pick any of his characters and go, wow, that's a really just great character. Not just because of him, but, the combination of the writers, him, if
Yeah.
there was any sort of backstory to those aliens, which wasn't much, but with, like, the Andorians, he had something to finally draw upon and present.
Yeah.
I found the quote I was looking for when you were talking about Luxana. I am Luxana Troy, daughter of the fifth house, holder of the sacred chalice of Rix, heir to the holy rings of Beta Zed. Who are you?
Mother, the sacred chalice of Reeks is a moldy old cup.
Mother of Dragons.
Oh.
Love that.
Chains.
Who are you?
Loxana is I love the scenes between her and Picard.
Yeah, yes. She just acts so. It's just so over the top. Such an over the top part.
If you're my mother's valet, then please valet. She's making Picard lug her bags down the ship's corridors.
Picard had to fight for her against Damon Toth.
Yep.
Even
Yeah.
Mr. Holm was an interesting character.
Yep. Picard doing the Shakespeare for the in front of the Ferengi. Mr. Worf, if
Do I
do not
compare
have
thee to
to
a summer's day?
Mr. Worf, if I do not have Loxana Troy in my arms in 10 seconds, fire everything we have on that ship. 10! I told you he's very jealous.
The Crater?
The
Name of
Kraton.
name of the
I think it was the Kraton.
The name of the Ferengi ship?
Yeah.
Right on.
Oh, what a
Damon
great...
Togg.
Another non-human character you could say was kind of a character. Its name was NCC 1701. The ship itself kind of had a personality.
I think
in terms of
what
what
all the ships did.
Oh, I definitely agree. Defiant obviously did.
Even because Janeway has a little speech with Tuvok when Tuvok is leaving the ship at the end of the Year of Hell, when she's the only one left aboard. And he's like, I will never understand humans' fascination with inanimate objects. Right? And she's like, it's more than that, Tuvok. It's a home. It's not just a ship, it's a home.
Yes.
It's carried us, it's nurtured us. And it's really it's true, like you really do you feel like Voyager is a home, not just a ship.
Yes.
And you feel like the Enterprise is almost like a little working city in space,
Which it kind of is.
Yeah, and it's got its own personality, and it's got its own workings, and it's got its own, comings and goings of people, and
it's utterly human.
Yeah.
It's built by humans. It's made to keep them safe and to be efficient in conveying them around the universe. It's an awesome idea. It makes me sad in a way that I was born too soon. I want to be born in the era when that's a reality and you really do live for 1,000 years, and it's plenty of time to jump around in our galaxy, or even intergalactic travel is a possibility where these things are real, because Star Trek has made them so real to us.
oh yeah,
I mean, it's almost like a separate reality that, in many ways, I mean, to me, Luxana Troy is a much more real and honest character than AOC.
yeah,
AOC allegedly exists in real life. That is some sort of creature, maybe human. Whereas these others exist in our minds, but they really exist in our hearts. They really, truly do get into our souls. At least they do with me. I mean, I just love this stuff. It's been such a part of my life for so many years. When when first time I watched the first episode of TOS I ever watched, I was like in the 7th grade or something. It was like I had discovered fire.
Yeah.
I was energized. I remember just, walking, pacing back and forth in the house, wanting to tell somebody about this amazing discovery that I had just experienced.
It's true though, because you watch these shows and you almost find yourself wishing you were aboard the USS Enterprise, or
Almost, I would.
I would
If
kill
you,
I
it.
would
you
give
give me
my
the
left.
opportunity, I'd be there in a second.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
join up to Starfleet for sure.
Yeah.
Hell, I would gladly volunteer to be like a Klingon exchange program person.
If I had the chance right now, I would get a math tutor and study fucking calculus till the cows came home, so I could join Starfleet. Like seriously,
Hmm.
because I suck but you need math requirements to get into Starfleet. I would.
See, it seems important, although I'm sure that they have social justice warriors and they probably have gender studies positions open if you could stomach that.
No, I don't think I could.
I didn't think so. But better,
Well,
you're better
anybody
off-
could be a ship's counselor, so there you go.
Yeah. Well, it helps to have a little bit of telepathic sensitivity, but
Hey, I wouldn't mind being a ship's counselor.
no, you'd be a good one.
I'd actually listen to the people who had real problems, and then I would, do a little bit of Dennis Leary with love with the ones who didn't. Shut the fuck up by Dr. Dennis Leary.
Your baseball glove, get on the back of the truck.
Yeah.
The best counselors I've ever known had children. I think that was, a potentially a blind spot that Deanna had.
Yeah.
Kids teach you so much about human nature if you're going to be a counselor, I think it enhances your capabilities in that area.
Hmm.
Yeah, you think you're right.
You just have to be like, I think a key trait for being successful at that position is you have to have wisdom with your empathy. You can be a very empathetic person, but without wisdom to interpret.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have common sense too.
Yeah.
Well, because even look at Deanna's reaction when she lost her telepathic or her empathic senses in that episode, The
useless.
Loss. She went to pieces, and Guinan was like, trying to show her that you didn't need empathy or empathic telepathy to be a good counselor. You needed wisdom, right? Like Guinan is probably the wisest person on that ship.
Well, she's a hell of a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Having a little fun here.
It hurts when I laugh. I mean, she's definitely a good example of separating the art from the artist, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's another interesting character that I really liked.
Who,
And
Guinan?
Guinan, yeah, and
yeah.
then her race of listeners that just naturally live for hundreds of years, and they have this biological and social not pressure, but imperative to listen to stories. It was kind of very reminiscent of that race from Voyager, the guys who like stories.
Yes.
It was very. They kind of reminded me of Guinan's race a little bit. I was kind of upset that they weren't her race.
Yeah, or like you mean the guys that were like the pleasure-seeking race?
Yeah. But nothing gave them more pleasure than stories.
Stories.
Other people's stories.
Yeah.
And for them, it sort of ties in that they would. Well, how would they get these? Well, they'd have to listen to them or read them. But what's more pleasurable than hearing someone regale you with a new discovery they made, or something they really enjoy or an experience they had that you yourself couldn't have.
Roland Pirate Pete asks, have you ever thought about doing a stream about Star Trek Continues? That's a good idea,
The
Pete.
web series.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good callback to TOS. They did a very good job with it.
It's
Made
on
me
YouTube,
pine.
isn't it?
Has everybody
Made me
watched it?
definitely pine to
I
watch
need
TOS
to watch
again.
it again. I've seen a bit of it. I need to watch it.
I watched it all the way through, but I didn't think everybody else had watched it.
I have not watched
I've
it
watched
yet.
it.
Most of us have watched it.
Something we can plan for the future when you guys can get around to watching.
There you go.
Because that'd be very interesting to talk about. Because I don't think we talk enough about TOS.
I don't.
Not against anybody. I just think it's just so ingrained into Trek.
Yeah.
I think I talk too much about TOS. I don't.
No way.
I don't emphasize the other because TOS is my favorite. So
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you bring it up, I'm just like, oh yeah, I remember. Oh yeah. Oh my God, he's totally right. And it's like it's just something. I was so young when I first saw it, Skep.
yeah,
That I did not remember it.
yeah.
And
It
I
wasn't
grew
until
up-
my 20s or so when I rewatched it, I was like, oh yeah, this stuff really good. Really
and for
kind of.
me, TNG was my TOS, right? Because that's what
Yeah.
I grew up with. I
Right.
was like 4 when the show
TNG
was ending.
seems like OG to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely the first series I remember because I was preteen by about then.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
Voyager I watched. So I watched mostly reruns of TNG when I was growing up because it was already almost over by the time I had memory. But Voyager I watched as it was new, like as it aired. So TNG and Voyager to me are like my main Trek because that's what I grew up like. That's what I grew up watching.
Yeah, we could talk about that unlimited. Talk about the difference between the series and
Yeah.
TNG was such. In many ways, much more complicated than TOS. TOS tended to have simple ideas and one main problem and Kirk solves it. That's mostly what TOS is.
Or
Spock
punches
solves
it.
Yeah, sometimes Spock does, and every once in a while Bones or Scotty will have a major role in solving. But mostly that's the idea. Whereas TNG, man, you just never knew where that was going to go. And DS9, in my opinion, and to an extent Voyager also took that to other places. DS9 in the dramatic way, and Voyager into some really loopy, strange ways, particularly in the later seasons.
With multiple plot lines and generally one larger arcing plot line.
Right.
Hey, DP.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little after 6. So are we going to go for a while, or
No, we're almost done.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, I've got to run off. I've got to run off here.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
So I need to. I was gonna say next week we're gonna do the enemy relationships of Trek, which I think is gonna be interesting.
Enemies we
Like
loved and hated.
frenemies or rivals?
Like the rivalries.
Rivalries, okay.
Yeah, the
Cool.
rivalries.
Rivalries and enemies.
And enemies, yeah. And then so yeah, come watch that next Saturday at 5 p.m. And then Irate, who do you have tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I am hanging with the man down below right there. Not Judge Dredd, but Dr. Functional.
Nice.
Hello!
That's
Oh
right.
boy,
Yeah, it should be a good time.
So we're gonna hang out and shoot the shit, have some
And
fun,
then,
zone.
Skep and Functional, are you going on Minions tonight?
Yes.
Yes, I
Definitely
will.
gonna
I will be
have some fun
on
on
Means. I'm about to head over to Say No More with
Okay.
Chaos Eve. I'll be hanging.
Oh, nice.
I want to be on. All right, I'm fixing to
Next
go to something called Trigger Warning.
Oh,
Yes,
All
a
right.
British guy. I think it's MRA kind of thing. So I'm gonna hang out with those guys. So
all right,
sorry,
guys.
I just
And we are
Salute.
Piccolo and I are looking at finding a different time for the blind and the special. because everybody's streaming at 10:30 on Sunday nights, and
Yeah.
we are dead because we've had the kids all weekend and everything. So, Blind and Special's on hiatus right now until we can find a better time slot for it. But the coffee stream will be back on Monday, so come and watch that. And
Sweet.
thank you all for watching, and thank you to my panelists for being here. I hope
Thanks
you
for
guys,
having me.
always, and I hope you guys had a great time, and we will see you
I did.
guys later.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.
Always
Joel.
fun.
Joel on True.